Hello. Hello.
I'll get close to it.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. That's good. That's good, Chris.
Bernie, can you hear us back there? Can you hear me? I don't think you can hear. Hey,
Dan, we do roll call. When you're ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh, you were on me, huh? Good. Okay. Chuck Parks.
Here.
Keith Keller.
Here.
Bob McCosey.
here.
Ron Longo.
Here.
Pam Kabinski.
Here, and I just want to clarify that I have a mask on only because I'm at the end of a cold, nothing else. Don't want to spread my germs. Thank you.
Keith. Here. Diane McIntyre here.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to waive the Roberts rules?
I make a motion, we waive Robert's rules.
I'll second it.
Hey, Chuck, let's start with you today. We'll go this way.
Hello, comments?
Any
I got a
comments?
couple of things I'd like to talk about.
Okay. Everybody?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring up that's been brought to my attention. Seems like we're having a lot of problems with the copy machine over here. People are complaining about no paper, no filter, no ink in it. My suggestion is that if you want to use a copy machine, you can use it. The cartridges should be supplied, but I've had people tell me they actually bring paper and put it in there, not from the office, and they see people taking it out. So my solution for that is maybe you bring your own paper up and use the machine, and don't go to the office and ask them for 5 sheets of paper or something like that. That's something I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
One other thing I want to talk about is, me being a contractor for many, many years, I notice in our community that we have a lot of workers in here that are working inside buildings and that are not licensed, and they don't have liability insurance. And to me, you shouldn't be working in somebody's unit unless you have liability insurance, because you're working above somebody else a lot of times. And that's why you carry liability insurance. If you have a problem, your insurance takes care of the problem below you and stuff. So I'm sort of thinking that, the people that are working in here that don't have liability insurance, that are actually getting paid to do the work for a resident, needs to be licensed or at least liability insurance. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Keith?
No, this time.
Nothing? Bob?
Yeah, just can you hear me back there? I can't hear myself here. Okay. Just to let you guys know is that, again, with the parked vehicles and the no permits and so forth, Chris and I went around. Please, don't blame Chris or don't blame me. These are the rules and regulations, so bear with us. Okay. I think I said it the other day. On March 27th, well, not a warning, it was just a reminder that they're either parking in a no parking zone or parked in a guest spot, all right, or they don't have a permit. It's not a warning per se, it's a reminder, okay. Then on the 6th, we went around, we hit 17 vehicles, the same situation. Fortunately or unfortunately, we had to tow one vehicle out, okay. One person, vehicle was towed out. They put a nice sticker on there, another nice sticker. They refused to move it, so they were towed out. The person comes and complains that it was towed. They after the warnings they had. So please, Chris doesn't want to tow anybody out of here. I don't think anybody on the board wants to tow anybody out of here. However, you have to follow the rules and regulations on that. And if you don't learn from the first 2 messages, I don't know what to say. That's it.
Yeah?
I have a few things, one regarding Mora. There are 2 resolutions and owners, rules and regulations governing Mora. Do we discuss that at this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We have 2 resolutions in front of the board. One is Resolution 02-23. It reads, "It is agreed that the Mora Committee requests to rescind the House Committee Resolution 1020 to the KMCA Board of Directors. Mora consists of social and membership committees that may raise and/or hold funds to be used on behalf of and/or for the owners of Monterey Yacht and Country Club. It is hereby resolved that the responsibility for overseeing, maintaining, and financing the common areas of KMCA belongs to the MYCC Board of Directors, House Committee Resolution 594. Funds raised by the House Committee on behalf of and for the benefit of the owners of Monterey Yacht and Country Club will remain with the House Committee. All items purchased for the benefit of the Monterey community belong to the association from the date of purchase, and Mora will not be held responsible for maintaining or replacing any items. Mora consists of social and membership committees, and as such shall not bear the responsibility for overseeing, maintaining, and financing the common areas. This resolution will rescind KMCA Resolution 10-20. Respectfully submitted by Sue Andrews. Is there any discussion regarding this resolution?
No, I think though, what we have to do, I know Mora is independent from the Board of Directors. However, I think at the next meeting, we have to put this as an agenda item to approve it, because indirectly, everybody reports to the board. Okay? And I think it's just a formality or so that we just have to approve it. Like I said, again, even though we're independent from Mora, they still report, like I say, indirectly to the board. So I think that should be an agenda item to vote on at the next meeting, which is in 2 weeks, correct?
Right.
Okay, however, is this saying that it's going back under the Board of Directors?
No.
Because that's what it kind of looks like. The responsibility for overseeing, maintaining, financing the common areas KMCA belongs with KMC Board of Directors, House Committee 594.
And maintaining it, I think, after it's done, correct?
This is all about maintaining. Okay.
Yeah, maintaining. I said, yeah.
Yep. I just wanted to be clear.
That'll be, the next resolution is Mora Resolution 10-2020. Whereas it is agreed that the Mora Committee requests to rescind the House Committee Resolution 5-94 to the KMCA Board of Directors.
Well, well, that's,
That was the other one.
This one, this 223 rescinds.
Rescinds this one. Okay, I'm sorry. Because nowhere in this did it give that number.
In October of 2020, the board
Got it.
accepted this resolution to put the House Committee back under the board because they had no finances.
Right.
Then they started to raise funds again, so now it has to go back under Mora.
Right.
And that's what the new resolution was for.
My bad, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. The other thing is the rules and regulations governing Mora. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I got one question. Where is that resolution's rescinding it?
Rescinded resolution? I don't have that one.
Here's the 594. This is the one that was accepted by the board in 2020.
That's this.
And this is the new one, taking it back to Mora because they raised funds
I don't
now.
have that one either.
I don't think I have that one. Wait, hold on. This is the Red 1020. Okay, you're correct. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I attached it to the other one there. Thank you. Okay.
I just have one comment, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the regulations, but,
I'm sorry.
sorry. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have one comment in regards to, not the resolution or that, but Mora, over the years, has donated money for certain projects that are community-based, and I just want to make sure that that's still going to be part of Mora's responsibility when and if they can afford to do it.
Yes.
I heard yes. I heard
Yeah.
a yes.
Yes.
Okay.
There's Tom over there, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Lastly, regarding Mora is the rules and regulations governing Mora. It's a multi-page article or resolution that rescinds many parts. Do I need to read this whole thing?
Now, we read everything, don't we?
Okay,
There's a
regarding...
couple comments that
I have a comment also regarding Article 3, number 5, where the article as written reads, "At the February meeting in each year, the chairperson will accept nominations for officers from the floor. The member receiving the largest number of votes for an office shall be declared elected. The term of office is 2 years. The term of office is generally 2 years, but officers may volunteer to succeed themselves in subsequent years or seek new volunteer members. What has been rescinded is at the February meeting is the first part. So that it would read only, the term of office is generally 2 years, but officers may volunteer to succeed themselves in subsequent years or seek new volunteer members. What was rescinded was the part where it said, at the February meeting in each year, the chairperson will accept nominations for officers from the floor. The member receiving the largest number of votes for an office shall be declared elected. The term of office is 2 years. I disagree that that should be rescinded. I think it should go to the general audience so that it could remain the same. Please, none of that from the audience, please. Thank you.
I think I agree with Pam. What she's saying is that the way I read this is that they're taking out even though it hasn't been followed throughout, even when I was on the Moore board, but it should give the opportunity for any member or any owner that wants to participate as an officer. We appreciate the officers that are doing what they're doing, but there might be somebody out there that wants that position. It should give them afford them the opportunity, whether they do it or not, to hold that position. I think I agree with Pam on that. Somewhere it should say the February meeting each year again, just leave that in there, I would think.
Yeah, either the February or
Yeah, whatever.
Right,
yeah.
the last meeting, I'm not sure, because I know the calendar for meetings has changed.
It gives everybody the opportunity that might want it.
Exactly.
It might not, but that's...
Well, I think that we should run it just like we run the rest of the amendments that, oh, sorry about that. Woo. I think we should do this just like we do the rest of the amendments. Hello? Yes. Okay. I think that we should do this just the way we do the rest of the elections and follow the amendments, that positions are posted. I also was on Mora for a number of years, and I know it's hard to go out and recruit someone to take that position. But we have a much more interactive community at this particular point of my history here in Monterey. So I think it would be valuable for everything to be posted, and then people show their interest.
That's fine, that's basically the same way. Yeah. Put it on 63.
And one other thing I have on this is, to correct if I'm wrong, I don't know if you can hear me back there. Okay, you can hear me, all right. From why I say this is that the board of directors, we hold the workshop meetings. That's been going on for about 10, 12 years, I think. Anyway, the building reps now meet monthly at the property manager meeting. So what we're saying is, I believe in here, correct if I'm wrong, is that there'll be no Mora meetings. Is that correct? No.
No.
What's that mean?
I think, let Sue answer, I think we
Yeah.
should let Sue or Tom answer that.
Wait for the microphone, please.
Wait for the microphone.
Mostly because of YouTube, Sue.
Sorry, my back's to you.
I think where this change came from, and I think that we announced before that with the ever-changing community here, where there will not be a scheduled monthly meeting, but there will be more meetings, and I said that at the last meeting that we had. We will have them, we will announce them, but it will be primarily at the request of the owners and then also the request of the people on Moore saying we need to get this information out. So saying it would be a February meeting, we can't guarantee that meeting was in February. What I suggested at the annual report was that we have one when a lot of people come back in October, let them know what's going on. Have one in January when we have the most people here, and then a wrap-up, which we did in April. That's not firm, but that is our thoughts. And maybe at the April meeting, we would post, obviously, openings, but we could also ask for volunteers. And I think we all know that getting volunteers now is not the easiest thing to do, but we certainly are looking for volunteers. Every committee and every part of Mora is run by volunteers. So anybody who wants to volunteer, please do. But it doesn't say that we're taking away Mora meetings. We're just looking for the most effective way to have them, not to have meetings here where nobody comes, or meetings when people aren't interested, but we need to have it when you want us to have them. So if that makes any sense.
I understand what you, but you understand what we're saying about the Article 3, number 5, that can be changed, whatever, at the annual meeting, whatever you decide what to do, just give the opportunity, because most of the time, nobody wants to volunteer anyway. I understand that. We appreciate the guys that are on it already, but you hear, this way you give the opportunity. If you could change, in my opinion, just change that one, and I don't see any other problems. I don't think.
Change it to what?
Well, you have to open it up wherever it's in February, March, April, May, the next meeting or something.
Okay.
And showing that you give everybody the opportunity to put in for it, whether they want it or not. Because you hear a lot of scuttlebutt around, well, why didn't I do this? Why didn't they do that? Well, why don't you go to the meetings and run for a position if you want? A lot of people like that. But whether they do it or not, it gives them the opportunity to do it so nobody can complain that, wait, how come I wasn't asked or whatever? You know what I'm saying?
I do. I don't disagree with you at all.
Whatever you put in there,
I just think we weren't naming it in the February meeting.
Well, whatever you guys decide.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter as long as it's consistent.
Okay.
That's all. I understand now the meetings be held deemed necessary because Chris does his meeting there, and it's pretty redundant to say the same things, right?
Right. And everything is posted on 63 when there is an opening. So that will continue.
Right. So when his next contract comes up, the new person coming in, we're going to have to put that in there, that he's not required to do that according to his job description, but we'll have to put that in there. Right? Okay, thanks.
I just wanted to make one comment that I think that we're seeing more volunteers come forward in the last couple of years than we have in the past. So I really would encourage anybody who's interested in any position to throw your hat in the ring.
And I have one other thing. I read in here in Article 4, it says a monthly report, income and expense will be submitted to the Assembly by the Treasurer and posted on a bulletin board. Okay, great. An annual report, it says, may be prepared annually by the Treasurer. Are we saying that the Treasurer does not have to give an annual report? No? Okay, yeah, see what I'm reading in Article 5 there, it does say that. An annual report may be prepared by the Treasurer. It doesn't say it must be.
Which paragraph, Bob?
Article 5, Article 6, number 4. It says an annual report may be prepared annually by the Treasurer. It took off, an annual report should be prepared.
Are you still talking more, or
Yes.
More.
This is more.
So you're on Article 6?
Article 6, number 4.
four.
It's crossed off where it says an annual report should be prepared for the record.
You just want a change of word from may to should?
Yeah, well, I would think that would be it. Like I say, it was, I would think that would be the thing. Then you post it on the board like you normally do.
It is, and it will be.
Yeah, an annual report should be prepared for the record. Prepared annually by the Treasurer and posted. That's it.
Okay.
Anybody else out there got any questions on this? No. Peg?
Wait for the mic.
Richard Brass, 59. In the past, not recently, but in past years, the Moore meetings was a great venue for everybody to come together. We normally have 100+ people here. There were special guests sometimes, but more important, we have so many different organizations here that would give a report of what they're doing, kayak club, house committee, whatever, workshop. And that's what people need to know, what's going on in the community. This hasn't been done for the last couple of years, partially because of COVID. And I think the meetings should go back to the monthly meetings so people know what's going on by the different organizations in the community. As far as people being interested in becoming a member or a director of Mora, why, this is just a just an idea. In the January chip shots, you could have a ballot with people's names on it who are interested in becoming part of Mora. And let them vote in the month of January, and whoever gets the most votes gets on the Mora committee. Let it up to the owners. They're the ones that, that's what Mora is for the owners. So let it up to the owners.
Just to piggyback on that, Victor, I think that not to be redundant, maybe they could incorporate the Mora meeting into the managers meeting. After the managers meeting and or the Mora meeting, the committee members could present their thing. I don't know, that's just an idea.
I hear you, and at the last Mora meeting, every committee did report, including their financial. They don't believe they have been in the past reporting at every single Mora meeting. I think updates were presented, but it's a lot sometimes to ask for them to give a report. Certainly, I agree reports should be given, but I think if we sum it up, Victor, I hear you about a ballot. I don't know if January is the time, and I don't know if Chris wants us to usurp any of his time at his meeting, because that's his meeting. We make announcements there, building reps are there, they make announcements. I think January is too soon every year to elect, but certainly I hear a ballot would be necessary, and that could be done. But I think just saying at January meeting we have to do this, I don't think that is what needs to happen. And am I also hearing, I forgot what I was going to say.
Hi, Lorraine. As a past Mora chairperson, it was always very difficult to get volunteers. You just couldn't. You ended up going and asking people to serve on the board. Now we have 63 that we can post the openings, and I really do like having only 3 Mora meetings in a year, because Chris has his meeting and it's repetitive. And so if people, and it's on 63, it's on YouTube, it's not that it's not available to everybody, but I think Susan's idea of October, January, and what she said, April, are perfect months to have a Mora meeting, because January on, most of the owners are here. That's my opinion.
Sue, is that possible to do that way? Yep. Like quarterly or something?
There's 4 people on Mora, not just me, but we chose those months because it seemed to be the most appropriate. We don't really do it during the summer. We do other activities during the summer. Mora is still active and we're listening, but we chose October because a lot of people are back. January, more people are back, so we're going to have an addition to the people in October. And we chose April as the final month because a lot of people leave. And if we catch them in April, the first Monday in April, we're getting almost everybody before they head north. So that was the reason for those choices. And I understand the concern. I think what I wanted to ask Victor, and I blanked out for a minute, is 2 years too much? Do you want people to just run Mora for 1 year, or do you want 2 years to stay in there? It sounds like you want a lot of changes, and I'm unclear about exactly what they are. So we need to hear what you want, and we will abide by it.
That's very good, but it doesn't say that in here, what months they're going to meet. It just says deemed necessary. If you could add that in there, what you just said, whichever month you want. I mean,
this was written before we made the decision.
Okay, see, we have to vote on this at the next month, the next meeting. I mean, why?
This was something that was given to the board to look at and comment on.
That's what we're doing.
Okay, you don't have to vote on it.
Yeah, you do. It's still
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
you have to vote
you have
on
to
it.
understand, Tom, is that everybody in this building, every owner in here indirectly reports to the board of directors, whether it's I know Mora is independent from the board. However, there are certain restrictions that they can't go hog wild on everything.
And nobody is going hog wild on anything.
I know, but I think that's a pretty reasonable request for them.
If these are just changes
Yeah.
to this that would be accepted by the board, then I have no problem with the ones we've discussed already. I would love to put the months in, but what if
Yeah.
something happens? So it would be those scheduled months and then whenever necessary,
Yeah, well,
which is
that
how we would really like to do it. And I have to disagree because I know over the past few years, there have not been a big attendance to more meetings when we have speakers. And that, I think, is one of the reasons this was changed, because it became embarrassing to have outside people come. And now with YouTube, they don't need to be here, and a lot of people don't want to come out. So we will continue doing it at night. We will continue having evening meetings, because I've heard by vote that's what people want, and that's fine. But I think you need to give us a little freedom as to when we have them, based on what we hear from the community, because they're telling us what they want. So everybody's not going to agree on that. The other thing I disagree...
What months are you talking about?
October, January, and April.
Sue, what if we phrased it to a minimum of 3 more meetings per season?
You're okay.
And then that way it leaves it open, but it also allows you to have more meetings if you feel that it's necessary.
But not obligated to do it every month.
Exactly.
And I have to say, Diane, I disagree with you just a little bit. I think we have a lot of people willing to volunteer for all the committees under Maura, but we haven't found people willing to step up for the responsibility because they don't want what they consider pressure. So we're working on more volunteers, and maybe this will help some of you who are listening say, yes, I'm willing to do that. So, am I done?
Yeah.
I think we're good. Are we good? Are we good with that topic?
Kathy,
Oh,
over
Kathy
here.
has.
Yeah.
I just have to say, I think we lost a lot of attendance from the Mora meetings because of them being at 6 o'clock. There was dinner time. I wasn't going to come up here at 6 o'clock, or then I wouldn't eat till 8 o'clock, and I didn't want that, so that's why I didn't come.
Yeah. I think Chris's meeting covers a lot of the stuff anyway. I really do. I mean, what we go over, but I mean, whatever they want to do is fine with me. They, you're not doing it anymore? He doesn't want to do it anymore, okay.
Vicki Mullen, 20E. I think it's a very good idea if you have the meeting dates posted somewhere, because some people have a whole lot of stuff to do, so they put it in their calendars when the meetings are going to be. And I like the Mora meetings. Back when I first got here, there were a lot of people in here, and that's how I met people. They introduced the new owners, and that was nice. I met Jeannie that night. Yeah. So I think 3 times like you have is perfect, and that's about it.
Anyone else? No? Okay, let's go to you.
I've got one more thing.
Go ahead.
The activity calendar
Yep.
that was posted and that was brought up for us, I guess we have to agree on it. I have no problems with it as it stands, and it's always subject to change. And so I think we should agree to put that on the agenda and vote on it.
It's fine. Yep. Put it on the agenda, Chris.
And now I'm done.
Okay. Go ahead, Peg.
I have a resolution for the Landscape Committee. Do you want me to read this whole thing?
Yeah, I think we should, yeah.
King Mountain Condo Association has had a landscape committee previously documented in 2020. We now wish to make some changes to the formal policy statement regarding such committee. It is hereby resolved that a landscape committee consisting of 3 members, 1 board member, the property manager, and 1 member at large shall serve as chair. Terms shall be 2 years and members can replace themselves. The purpose of the committee is to oversee vegetation management consisting of irrigation, plant selection, aesthetics, disease, and pest control. The property manager and landscape committee will determine what trees, shrubs, plants, etc. will be removed or planted on the common grounds. No owner is or shall be permitted to plant and or remove any shrubs, trees, etc. anywhere on the common grounds other than the stairwells at units A and E on each end of the buildings with prior permission, should be say without prior permission. From the property manager. This resolution also sunsets the beautification committee as we now contract work for all our vegetation plantings and removals. This resolution rescinds Resolution 2020-01, and a copy of that is attached.
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Number one, I think you guys are doing a very good job, landscaping committee. Okay, there's nothing here, what, I've heard of scuttlebutt or whatever. How about at the Veterans Park? Okay, that seems to be some different people that take care of the Veterans Park or whatever. Is that still under landscaping, or would that be a separate entity?
Well,
the Veterans Park.
You know, any changes or anything, they come to Chris and discuss what changes they want. As far as taking out anything, putting something in, I mean, putting in just general plants. They've been doing that, they maintain it and all. Anything specific?
No, I just wondering that who's going to maintain the Veterans Park, is who's in charge of the Veterans Park, the landscaping committee or the people that are doing over there? I know there's
Well, there's volunteers right now that go in there during
Yeah.
the season, and I think there's some volunteers here during the summer months that go in there and keep it maintained.
Yeah, no, like I said, I just want to make sure that,
It is part of the drive around where we look at it and see if there's anything going on there.
For my clarification on it, it's that if the Veterans Park wants to remove shrubs or do anything like that, they have to go through the
Correct.
landscaping committee
Correct.
first?
Through the property manager,
Okay,
correct.
the landscape committee
Right.
first. Okay, in the front of the building, okay, I got that. And the resolution also said sunset the beautification as we now contract the work. I said, what we're saying is they're doing away with the beautification committee, correct? It's just the landscaping committee, it's
Right.
just that. And I know the beautification committee used to be under more, it's not going to be under there anymore, correct?
According to this.
Okay.
correct.
And then it'll be just the landscaping committee would report to the board of directors on that, correct?
Because all requests that come, they fill out a work order.
Yep, okay, no,
landscape
I
committee
understand.
with
I
the
just
property
wanted
manager.
clarification on that. Okay, thank you.
Do you have anything?
No, I mean, as long as, I mean, the girls that are in there now are taking care of the Veterans Memorial Park. That's what it is. And they come to Chris if they need anything. And you guys got anything? You okay with that? All set?
We do have people that will take care of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what Peggy said.
Yep, I got that in a minute.
Okay.
That's agenda.
Yes,
Why has it changed? Because I thought outside of our property, the backyard, our little area there, we could plant as long as it grew, okay, and it was good. 3 feet out, we could plant what we wanted. I don't understand.
That
You
was
still
changed.
can, you just need permission, just like you did before.
So we just have to ask you?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
the other thing I've noticed is the pond across from me, 25, all those trees in there, all the shrubbery in there was thrown in a truck and thrown away. Why aren't things like that recycled?
Okay, so most of the things that were taken out of there are plants that shouldn't have been here in the first place. There are a lot of scheffeleras, which you're not allowed to have anymore. They're an invasive plant. It is more expensive to try to take something out, like a palm tree, and transplant it and keep it alive than it is to buy a brand new one.
Okay.
Okay, and with that size and things like that, it's harder to actually transplant it, and it's more expensive. Because now you're not just cutting it down, you have to come in with a root ball truck that takes the entire thing, you gotta dig a bigger hole. It's actually cheaper just to put in new.
Okay, how
Yep.
about smaller plants?
Well, depends on what kind of plant and who's
Well,
gonna.
one of my neighbors gave me some plants that were under his stairwell.
Okay,
And the landscape committee come in and took them out. I went looking for them. They were in the garbage dump up here.
Again.
Why aren't those things transplanted? I mean, they're still healthy.
who's gonna do it? Who's gonna?
I don't know. You got a landscape committee.
It's very difficult to transplant plants. If you're not gonna baby them and have somebody like Beth and Carol that do that like in the park, you've gotta constantly water them, you gotta make sure they're transplanted correctly. Most of the time, they're gonna die off, and people are gonna be like, the plant you just did died, because they go into shock. It's cheaper and easier to just buy new. Unless you are gonna maintain it the whole time you're here doing it, it's not worth us trying to transplant. Yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna do, if you're in the beginning of season and you're said, I'm gonna transplant this, and you're gonna take care of it the whole time, by all means. But to do it on a large-scale basis, it's not worth us doing it.
Carol Leininger, 37E. Shouldn't we be notified that it's going to be taken out, that we at least have the option to say, hey, I'll take care of it? I think that's what Kathy's implying, that, you know, had she been notified.
Depending on what it is and where it is, the person could be notified. But really, the only place that we're going to notify you is if it's under the stairs. If we have to replace plants, if we have to replace plants like in the back of your patio, they're being replaced for a reason. They're diseased, they're dead, whatever. That's great that you do that. But the majority of the people in here do not. We can't even get them to water new plants. That's why you see Keith and Bernie and Peg going around with hoses watering the new plants, because we can't even get people to water the plants on a even every other day basis.
I think I'm following along, Kathy and Carol.
Beth Cooler, and I think it's the same thing. There were some big trees that were removed, bougainvilleas out in front of our building, just on the whim of one of the people that lived there. And that puts great pressure on to the gardener little guys, you know, like the paid people. They were there because they were shoring them up with sticks, and they had to replace those. And that's partly a grooming thing, because if the bougainvillea gets really thick and it's in a windy place, then they topple over. So they had been replaced many times before we had come. Not replaced, just the sticks.
Yeah.
And I think what Carol's addressing too, there was a very lovely tree on one of the courses. On 7, that had 2 different plants growing in it. And I think what Kathy's hinting at too is, can we know before that's going to happen and then have some say about, and I do back up because I was on the gardening committee, that people, they would request shrubs, we'd put them in, and they wouldn't water them. And I think then, you know, we're into money. So I understand that part too. But if we could just have on the big trees maybe some notice or say.
Okay, so first off, the bougainvilleas were not just taken out because of a whim. Okay, if they were removed, it was because they were diseased or they kept falling over. It's not because somebody in your building said, I don't like them. Because that's bull. We're not taking a tree out that was approved just because somebody says.
People here from our building, and it wasn't the worker's fault. That is not pressure that should be put on that worker, but it certainly was somebody in our building that
Told one of our landscapers to take out that tree.
Yeah.
If I knew who it was, they'd be getting charged.
I've got the picture of it because it popped up on my phone, I don't know how, from 5 years ago, and there was the.
If I knew who it was, they'd be getting a bill for that tree. Nobody has the right to tell any of our landscapers to remove anything.
Perfect, that's just what I wanted to know.
As for taking things out, I mean, how many people are we gonna have on this committee? Are we gonna make it, there's 50 people, and every time we take out a plant or we're gonna transplant, we have to bring it to a meeting and say, hey, we're gonna do this? Is it okay with you guys? I mean, that's up to you.
No, you can't do that.
You do it either way you want, but I'm just saying, is that what it's gonna get to?
No.
That's one of the reasons why you have the board and have committees, because they're there to make that determination. Yes.
A lot of this work is all year long. And all summer long, we identify trees, plants, and stuff that have to be removed. We cannot sit and wait until individuals come back and ask for permission. Once they've been identified that they need to come out, I, as the chair of the landscape, was always done with Chris's permission, and we looked at those. We've done a lot of work to save plants. We work with Carlos and on treating some of this stuff. So it's a joint effort to save what plants we can and what plants can't be. They're too far gone. They've aged out. They get removed. We try to replace them if we can, but sometimes they're in a spot where they shouldn't have been in the first place. So.
I just have one comment. I think that we need to have a couple more people on this committee, because there's a lot of work for just 3 people. And I think there are a number of people who are interested in gardening. And, can you hear me? Sorry, I'm very sorry about that.
You've got to be almost on top of it.
Okay.
I got the good
Here we
one.
go.
I got the good
This
one.
is my outside voice, okay? My comment is, I think that we should add a couple more members to this committee because 3 people taking care of this complex is overwhelming, and those 3 people should be congratulated. So I would hope that we could recruit a couple more people. There are gardeners that would be interested in helping, I'm sure.
Diane, I don't think the resolution limits the people who can volunteer that want to do the planting. It's really, the resolution is about the committee, the decision-making process. We've always taken in extra volunteers to help dig holes, water whenever we can. So it's not limiting volunteers.
Okay. Do we then post it any place that, you'd be, like they used to do on Monday, when the landscape committee was, I think, landscape.
That used to be called the beautification, which is being rescinded.
Yeah, been rescinded, yeah. But every Monday, there was at least 7 or 8 to 10 people out there willing to go pull weeds,
Plant or whatever.
plant,
Post-COVID, that really dropped off. And so when we're going out and around buildings, we're talking to the owners of condos, trying to get them to water.
Okay.
But the large planting now, when we have that, is done by Carlos, which we never had before, and now we contract with him to do that.
Right, but that might change
And some
when
of the
our
issues
manager changes.
Well, some of the issues with that also is making sure that they were planted correctly. There was irrigation lines and stuff like that, so Carlos is very familiar with that. So that's kind of where we leave the major planting for him to do that.
Okay.
And not on Mondays, just having a group of people going out there and planting.
Well, I just think, I see you go around with hoses, and I think to myself, God, I should go out and help them.
Well, we do
I
have.
did.
We
I
do
did.
that a lot, but they never show up.
I did mine.
He did his part.
I did mine.
Every time we ask any of those guys that are doing something with the trees, they say to us, Chris said we don't have to do it.
Chris says everything. You can do it, you can't do it.
And then he'll talk to us in Spanish.
That's his job.
Better you than me. One of the things I wanted to say is I've been working with the irrigation guys a lot, and I've noticed there's plants that are planted, newer ones that are planted right in front of the irrigation system, the sprinkler systems. So I think we should get together with those guys and find out where the sprinkler heads are, so we don't plant in front of them. Because I noticed some of the stuff is planted in front of them. You can't tell because everything's in the ground there, when you're planting.
I just want to make a comment. We have a property manager for a reason. If there's anything we see as owners, we're in a condo community here, and the property really belongs to all of us. So if you see anything that needs to be done, just write in a work order or call Chris or say something to Chris. But he's our property manager, and he's responsible, along with Ron, because Ron is president, for the property. So we should really report everything to him. That's what he's getting paid for, Chris.
Really? That's what I'm paid for? So, okay, so landscapers are told they don't listen to you. Okay? They do not. And a lot of times, like with Carlos, he will have a specific work order that I've given him. He might come there and say, I was told to trim this one tree. If you want that tree trimmed, you have to put in a work order like that, okay? So that is true. That is true. And yes, and then other than Carlos, they all forget how to speak English all of a sudden. Yes. Yes.
Camille 25A, just clarification, do we need permission or not under the stairwell to plant?
Yes. Yes, you do need permission as to what type of plant. That's all. That's all. We don't want you planting something under there that's going to need a lot of sunlight, because it's obviously not going to get it. The watering is limited under the stairs, so it's only for what you want to plant is the only thing that you need to tell us. Pretty much, we let you plant just about anything you want. But there are some things I would say, like you don't want to plant a bougainvillea underneath there. That's going to be sticking out with thorns. Obviously, that's where people walk by. But other than that, it's very not limited of what we let you plant there.
What about ornaments?
What about what?
Ornaments and stuff underneath the
Okay,
stairs.
so what was decided years ago is you can basically do anything underneath your stairs that you want to do, as long as the people in your building don't complain about it. So if you want pink flamingos and no one complains about it, then you got pink flamingos.
How about poison ivy branches?
So are we going to put this on the agenda then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So
you
they
feel
put
comfortable
that on
with
the
the
agenda.
landscaping committee, know other people pushing on?
This is just
Go
a
ahead,
quick
Beth.
one. Sorry, I don't want to
Go
cut
ahead,
up the long. I want to clarify about the beautification committee, because when I came, just like Vicky had her way of meeting people, that was my way to meet. And we came over here in the morning, and we got all the little carts and our shovels and everything ready, but it all went through Chris. We waited on his list of what was to be done, so it was always channeled through Chris, and we were just the munions. So I want them to know we didn't go nilly-willy. We got our list from Chris, and away we went.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Everything needs to go through Chris or the landscape committee. Do not plant anything unless you get permission. Diane, do you have anything?
Of course. Oh, yeah, my outside voice is now speaking. The first thing I have to comment about is I would like to be able to put on the agenda for our next meeting the purchase of a second grill outside and the gas line that would be needed to be done before we can get that grill. So, anybody got comments?
Yeah, whereabouts, right here in the front, you mean, right next to the other one?
Right next
On the opposite, well, probably be on the opposite side of it.
Where the big one
where the
is
big
right-
grill is.
Where the big one is right now.
We talked about that before.
Just the next, they're going to take the other one out, and take the other one out, the big one out?
Yeah. Well, you could.
We'll move the big
We'll
one
move
to
it.
another area.
That's all.
Not another area, like the yacht club, we'll just move it so it's out of the way. Yes.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
I have a comment regarding that. Can that also area be cleaned up? It's very greasy above the current grill and
Needs to be power
the
washed and
wall and
cleaned.
power washed. It doesn't come
It
off.
does not come off. I mean, we can clean it, but we usually have to paint it, and within a couple of months,
Okay.
it's all back again. It just does not,
Okay.
I mean, that grill just goes right there.
Yeah, it goes up into the
Yeah.
vent, and the
Yeah.
vent looks yucky.
Yeah.
Well, the vent doesn't have an exhaust, right? It's
No,
just a
No,
vent.
no, it's
the
just
vent
a
does
vent.
not have an exhaust. So what if we move both the grills? So that you don't have that one under.
Put them both on one side?
Yeah, exactly. Then we can clean that area up and paint it, and we can put a bench there or something, or.
That would be probably a better
Yeah.
idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Does the grill now get protected if it rain a little bit underneath it? I mean,
No.
it's
Not to
protected
speak
at all?
of, Chuck. Maybe a little bit, but not enough to make a difference.
Not really.
Not to make a difference.
And we did it one time, had covers.
Right.
Well, you're cooking a steak, you're gonna go home, eat your steak, you're not putting the cover on because it's gonna melt.
Exactly.
So the covers went bye-bye.
Is it you at home?
Not mine, goes on every single time I use it.
One of you.
So let me ask you a question. If you're gonna put two on that side, can you put the other one on the other side that doesn't get used only for special events?
The big one?
Yep.
Could be.
Yep.
Good idea, Chuck.
And I personally think that the two on the one side would be probably easier because it's kind of a tilty area, you know, uneven. That would be probably a better word.
Yeah.
Where the grill is now.
Okay.
Cool.
Can work it out.
We can look at this.
Are we gonna pour concrete over there to set them on?
You wanna pour it or just do blocks? What do you wanna do?
You need something, they don't need to be set in the
On
dirt.
dirt, right.
I mean, we
Chuck's
got a
a
lot of patio, we
contractor.
got a lot of
Look at it.
patio block back there, but
You're a contractor, have a look at it, what do you think?
Well, either
I
way,
don't
I
know.
mean,
I have no
whatever they
idea.
want
What
to.
about those
Yeah.
boxes that are there, the ones that are like
They can work it
electrical
out.
or
Okay, so
whatever?
that is the thing, there is an FP&L box there, so we can only go a certain distance. Putting something in there that's gonna be permanent, like pouring cement, we may not be able to. We can get away with like blocks, because we can say, hey, we can tear them out at any time.
Yeah, pavers, yeah.
Yeah, so pavers will probably be the way to go.
Okay, my second item is the issue about Global. And as you can see, a fair number of ladies, oh, can't hear me? Oh my gosh, my outside voice is now back.
It's fading.
Strike that from the record.
Yeah.
Had a bad day.
Don't write that down, Chris.
I got it. No, I won't.
Okay, I put together just some quick ideas about Global. As I said, the ladies golf is here and wants to really be represented, and that's what I'm hoping I'm going to be able to do today. They had their Global event last week. It was a 4-hole event. Everybody had fun. There was apparently no injuries, which was important. So I just want to have you take a look at this list. It's not inclusive of what is proposed. I'm sorry. Oh, face closer. Thank you. Thank you. So it's important that we recognize that we're a changing community. I keep saying that, and I think it's important that we recognize that. We can't necessarily always say no because we think that's what we should do. We also have to think about who is our customer, and our customers today are right now the ladies representing golf. So let me just read what I proposed for. That we would notify the property manager, who then would notify the golf supervisor of the date and the time of the activity. We would request a ranger to be part of that event. It would be only 4 holes. There would be a one-on-one process. One golfer, one person accompanying that golfer with a flashlight. No golfers using a golf cart or a scooter would be allowed to play in this event. We could change the event to earlier in the season when it gets darker earlier, instead of waiting till the end of the season and then it's 7:30 when it's dark. Also, we could add some glow lights to the course. These are just some ideas. I think that probably other people have ideas. I just think that we need to discuss this and then put it on the agenda for a vote.
First question I have is, how many times during the course of the year? Is it not going to be like a daily thing or weekly thing like they...
Historically, it's been once a year.
Oh, once a year?
Once a year.
Oh, so what are you proposing? How many times? Once a
They're
month?
not changing it. Once a year would be...
Oh, once a year?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. I mean...
Oh, okay.
Unless the men's golf decide that they had so much fun.
This is
out there.
sanctioned by mixed golf, correct?
This is not sanctioned by anyone because that's the next
Okay.
piece. That's the next piece that needs to be discussed.
Okay.
Is this open to all, or how, like Bob said, how many events are we looking at? Do we limit it to, it can't be, is it going to be, say I want 20 of my best friends to come over and play go ball?
Well, number one, you couldn't have 20 friends come over.
Yeah. No, but I know her point is, though, is like, if you were just saying it's once a year, and that's it,
Once a year. Hello. Vicki Mullen, President, Ladies Golf.
Oh, right.
Ooh. First time I said that all year.
Good.
We're looking to do it once a year. The last time we did it, it was a Sweet 16 thing. But we would like it on the ladies' golf calendar so that it would be sanctioned by this board here. Because as far as I'm concerned, you people run Monterey. We were thinking that we could do it on the evening of a full moon, and you can look that stuff up when full moons would be. It would be earlier in the season than we did it this year, late in April. We had people on their lanais cheering us on. We had people following us. We had people at different stations watching us go by, and it was a really, really nice event. And we were hoping that this board here would approve it for ladies golf. And we're here, many of us are from ladies golf.
Vicky, can anybody play?
No, ladies golf.
Just ladies golf.
It's once a year.
And you'd have to sign up.
Okay.
We have 100 members, by the way. Ladies golf has 100 members.
All right.
And you're all welcome to join us. We would love to have you in ladies golf. Now you men.
Yeah, how many people did you actually have this year? We had 24 golfers this year.
This year, because it was the Sweet 16 that did it.
Right, but there are some people that would be automatically disqualified from doing this if they used a scooter or
Right.
needed a cart.
Right.
We only have like 3 people that actually would need a cart.
Right, but we have people whose husbands have a cart
Oh,
that they think, oh, maybe I could use that.
no.
you
Like
can't.
if you say no carts, no carts.
I got a question. If you're going to have it and you're going to open it up to everybody, you probably need to have a sign-up sheet, and you also need to have a total number of players that you're going to allow in it. Because if you're playing 4 holes, you know, the opportunity to start at a bunch of different holes. But you probably need a count of what you're going to have to do it. So, and people, like in our men's tournaments, they cut them off at 30, they cut them off at 100, you know, different numbers. So I think you would have to post it and put in the activity room and put a number of players allowed and first come, first serve.
Well, it wouldn't be an activity for the community. It's an activity for ladies golf. And like I say, there's 100 members, and if it's early in the season, they won't be here. A lot of people won't be here. And it's only 4 holes. It doesn't take long, so you wouldn't all go out at the same time like we did the other night. There'd be like 10 minutes between or whatever. So I don't think, we don't have to open it up to sign-ins except through ladies golf. We would take care of who plays.
Well, that's why I was talking about ladies golf. The men's not going to play in it, so I was talking ladies golf.
No,
Well,
don't
I
talk
think-
ladies golf,
I think
Chuck.
there was one gentleman who was interested.
What's that?
Were you interested in, at the
must have
last
a back
meeting,
mic.
you commented that you did glow ball in the past.
Jim, I think she's talking to you, Jim. Okay, here we go.
Jim Hensel, 12J. Yes, I did notice one thing. I looked at the rules and regulations. It used to be that you weren't allowed to play after sunset. I see that was removed, at least on the copy I have. I don't know about the new copy. But social activities, a couple years ago.
Couple?
15.
20?
15 years ago.
20 years ago?
There's a couple.
A couple of years ago.
We started the glow ball thing, and we did it for more holes. We had 3 different starts we played for 6 holes. We had 3 groups starting, the first, the fourth, the 7th, I don't remember exactly. But it was under the permission of the board of directors. What they did was, at that time, sign a resolution that said we could play as groups approved by the board. That would fall under Morris, say. But basically, that's what we did. Groups only. You really couldn't play after sunset unless you were an approved group. And you were, at that time, Maura was responsible for setting up all the schedules for everything. So we had Maura agree to certain nights where we would play the glow ball. And when they held their meeting with the board of directors with their proposed schedule for the year, that was in there. And that's how we did it then.
One other thing is that, would they be signing a waiver for what it's worth, playing in at night?
Bob, you and I know those waivers are worth nothing.
Oh, no, it helps a little bit. It'll knock it a little. You're gonna get no matter what happens, you get sued no matter what if somebody gets hurt.
Right, but
If
we-
you have some sort of a waiver, it does hold in court. Believe me, it does, to a certain degree. And it might, instead of a $1,000 fine, you might get $500 fine. But I think a waiver should be signed, playing at night where you can't see where you're going most of the time. But otherwise, I don't have a problem with it. My opinion.
I thought at the last meeting we had referred it back to mixed golf for some recommendations from that committee.
We did refer it to mixed golf.
And have they come up with
No,
anything?
their meeting is next week. But the issue has sort of changed now. The issue is it's just one particular group that wants to do it. So it doesn't necessarily have to go to mixed golf, especially if there are no gentlemen that are going to be interested in doing the same kind of event.
But how do you know? Once you open it up to one group, you have to open it up to the community.
That's right.
And how often are you going to do it? What's the structure around that, as far as the board goes?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, we can develop the structure around that. I mean,
how many events do you want?
We said once a year.
Once a year.
Once a year. I
Once a
think
year.
once a year is pretty reasonable. I mean,
You know, I think that as a group, we could say once a year for ladies golf. In the future, if there are other people, we readdress the issue.
Vicki, I have a question. How many people would this be open to? I'm sorry, how many people would it be open to?
Well, right now, we have, like I said, 100 ladies in ladies
Right.
golf. However, they're not all here at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I'm saying.
50? Let's say 50, and that's a lot.
If 50 wanted to play, you would accommodate 50?
Yes.
Okay. So it would not be a scramble start like?
It wouldn't be, it is a scramble, right, Paul?
It is,
It was a
okay.
scramble.
Okay. My big concern, I did a drive around in the cart the other day, and our sprinklers and our drains are very well defined now, more so. And I'm wondering, but Diane brought up a good point about using some sort of a glow stick or something to mark these hazards. If that were possible, maybe then I would still be on board with it.
Well, we could put glow sticks in, so they know where they are.
Just so that people know, because I could easily see myself breaking an ankle.
I know most of us had someone with us with a flashlight.
Right.
And they marked our way, and it wasn't really that dark. It's not that dark when we're out there.
Well, especially if you're doing a with a full moon.
Well, and I think one of the recommendations is you have to have a one-on-one.
Correct.
One-on-one.
and Vicki, you said that I think at the last meeting you said that they would sign a waiver if needed, right?
I did I sent you all a letter when it was canceled, so you know exactly where we were coming from. But we signed a waiver to play during COVID. Of course, we'd sign one to play out there. But do we need it unless we sign it just to play every day? Because I could fall out there during the daytime, actually.
Yeah, but it's not dark.
Well, like I say, I have someone with a light that brought me along, and it wasn't that dark. People on their lanais, they had their lights on.
Well, my personal opinion is I would agree with this 100%, which I know we can't vote on it. I would disagree if you didn't have a waiver signed.
You would disagree what?
If you didn't have a waiver signed.
Oh, well, make one up.
You know, make it up and present it to us.
Chris.
Waiver?
No.
We'll do it.
Wait a minute, this is a game. I mean, it's not like COVID and we had to sign a waiver.
It's
This
at
is a
nighttime.
game. It is nighttime.
Yes, thank you.
But that's okay. It's early in the evening. There are flashlights. People are there watching everyone. Nothing happened. I didn't play in it, so I have no idea what went on. But I know I heard a lot about it. It's a fun game, and it's just a game, and it's once a year.
Like I said.
I don't think we need a waiver.
Well, if somebody refuses to sign a waiver, I can't understand why they wouldn't want to sign a waiver just in case something happened out in the dark. That's what I can't understand. I don't know what the big deal is. But anyway, that's my opinion. Go ahead.
So, Chris, let me just ask you, what's your thought on the waiver?
It should be done by us, not by women's golf. A waiver really means nothing. You can walk right through a waiver. Would it protect us a little bit? Probably, knowing that, listen, you are taking the chance that you're playing in the dark. You understand that you are taking this chance. That's all.
Could make a difference in the settlement.
But it would be us. It would come from Monterey. Yeah.
Is this a ladies' golf event? And then there's a separate Sweet 16 event? Are we talking one event?
One time.
One time, and that's under women's golf?
Workshop, they have a waiver. You sign in a workshop, you sign a waiver.
We could get into during the day, in daylight. Are we going to sign
Well-
a waiver because we play golf?
Come on, let's be reasonable about it. We're talking about day and night, okay? That's the issue. I mean, it's not like it's light up. I mean, naturally, if you're walking across the lawn over here at the dark time, what's a better chance of falling if you're in the dark or in the light? Come on, common sense.
Oh, you're right, Ben.
Judy Roberts, 17G, and I just quick one on the waiver. I mean, I understand what he's saying, trying to cover, but how many other activities do, like dancing under the stars? We're outside, we're dancing in the parking lot, people are drinking, you know, we don't sign waivers for something like that. That's at nighttime. That could cause injury just as well as walking with somebody with a flashlight showing us where to go, especially if we're taking precautions to mark areas that could cause injury if someone were to stumble into that. But I mean, you got to get to a point where you say, it's getting a little nitpicky, I think.
I know the workshop has a waiver, right, Sam? They have a waiver because they're using equipment that normally the average person doesn't do. But go ahead, what do we want to do? Vote against
agenda.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
The waiver, that's my opinion. Yeah, put the agenda. I don't see a problem with the waiver.
I have to go.
No.
Do I get a chance? Okay.
Go ahead, Pat.
I have something. I know that golf is a close-knit community, and kudos to you guys for doing this. However, in this day and age, someone gets hurt, I'm not saying anyone would do it. We are Sioux crazy. And somebody stumbles, oh, the pipe was there or whatever, especially with all the hot wire going in. It's just to protect Monterey. The insurance is going up enough that if we start having people say, oh, I got hurt because of, it's all on us that our HOA will go up, and eventually it's going to price us right out of our condos. I love the idea. I think it's great. I'm not sure on the full moon, Vicki, because you know the crazies come out on a full moon. So, well, I don't know about that, but anyway.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep, you certainly,
Could I-
you certainly can sue yourself.
Go ahead, Jim.
Could I read your rules for a minute?
Sure.
The golf course opens daily at 8 o'clock, except Monday. That's all it says. Any owner in here can play golf all night long if they want to.
No.
You didn't prohibit it.
No. Keep reading that it says open at.
Okay.
Yeah, it closes at dusk.
It closes, when the days are in,
Okay.
It closes at dusk. It's on every sign out there. They're basically asking for an exemption to that rule. The golf course closes at dusk. So you're asking for a one-time exemption to play glow ball, open to women's golf only. Is that correct?
Okay. This discussion is done.
Are we adding it to the agenda, Mr. President?
Put it to the agenda.
just like this, Diane, without the waiver sign, or just going to leave it like that?
I would leave it without, but Bob, if you feel better with a waiver, we'll put it in.
But I'm 100% for this, I like, but I still think, as far as the protection of Monterey, with a waiver to be signed, I don't think there's a big issue about it. But otherwise, I see no problem with it.
Okay.
I mean, everything on there. I mean,
If that's going to make...
that's my stumbling block. That's my opinion.
Okay, if that's going to make the difference, we will certainly add the waiver.
Work out the details. We're all done with this conversation. Diane, you got anything else? AEDs? No.
I do have a comment about the AEDs. If this meeting ever ends, there's a group of us that are going to meet to make a decision about which one we're going to purchase.
Okay.
So let's hurry up and close this meeting so I can have the next one.
Okay. Anybody else on the board? Nothing?
I have one thing.
Go ahead,
boss.
Chris.
Okay, so I only have one thing. Ron, you're aware of it. I think some of the other people are, Finance Committee, maybe some of it. So Sid is requesting that we upgrade the irrigation time clock system. So we are still working on putting in that new pump with the VFD, et cetera. This would work in conjunction with that. Right now, we use a satellite system where we are limited to how many stations and how many programs we can have. You see the irrigation boxes out on the golf course. To change sprinklers right now, we have to go to that particular box every time. We have to change it. Let's say we only want to water one green for some reason. We're putting in new tee boxes. We only want to water that. You have to go and actually change each system. What we are requesting, and it's one of the reasons that we had Hotwire put 6 satellite areas in that we can use Wi-Fi, is we are requesting a Link Smart Satellite 16 station green pedestal irrigation system. It can be run all on Wi-Fi, so it can be done. They actually provide you a computer with it. It can be done from your phone. It has multiple programs, so we can run one zone at a zone 6. It can actually be set up so we can literally run one head if we wanted to. All of this can be done off-site. So, for instance, I get a phone call that we have a mainline break or an irrigation break behind Building 4 on hole 2. Sid can actually turn it off from his phone. So we're requesting this be installed. It is done by Wesco Turf. The cost is approximately $31,000. However, in our equipment reserve, we have a balance right now of about $54,000. We are adding another $30,000 this year, and we will continue adding $30,000 for the rest of man time. Just to give you an idea, one lawnmower costs us $60,000. So we are going to constantly be putting this $30,000 back in. The funds can be used from that account. It is for equipment. Is this something that we want to go forward with? And if it is, I need to add it to the agenda. Questions?
I say yes, but it needs to be upgraded.
So the system that we are using right now, if anybody's ever been in that room, which I know many of you have, you see there's a huge irrigation board. That hasn't worked in 22 years, okay? Literally, the only clocks we have are out on the property. We had one a couple of years ago behind Sam's. I think Sam's the one that actually called me. Chris, there was a huge lightning strike and something was on fire. And it was one of our irrigation boxes that literally was blown up. The system is antiquated. And going with which we already have the funds in place, and we're still just waiting for FP&L to be able to add that additional FVD system to the main well. That's still being done. This works in conjunction with that. So again, questions? Yes, no? Do we add it to the agenda?
Let me say something. Are we just talking about on the golf course, or are we talking about the property?
This is just for golf course. Just for golf course. Okay, so you know, the original price is $51,000. And because we're getting a package discount, they're taking $23,000 off of it. It's a good deal. I mean, if we're going to do it, this is an excellent deal.
Yes.
That's the senior discount. This we can do right away because we can still use it with the pump system that we have. It'll just make it even better once the new VFD system is totally installed.
Does this require hot wire?
It does require hot wire. That's why we were waiting. That's what I just said. It does need Wi-Fi. That's why we have put in these 6 different stations throughout the property. There's one at the clubhouse, there's one down at Building 8, they're throughout the property, so that this can work via Wi-Fi. If we didn't have hot wire going in, we wouldn't have been requesting this because we wouldn't be able to use it.
Put it on the agenda. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd say put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
But then I do have one question, Chris.
Yes.
Your thing's not working right up there. I can't even.
I don't, you can't even hear me, Bob?
Do you have it on right now? Did you maybe shut it by mistake? Up, towards you. Yeah, there you go.
Right on.
It helps when you turn it on.
No, they told me everything was live. Okay, my one question though, Chris, can we
Yes.
add to this process at some point later in the future for the rest of the irrigation through the community?
No. The particular system that we have right now, we're only talking 7 clocks for this. We have another 16 clocks for the regular irrigation. It wouldn't be cost effective.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Anybody
I'm
on the
done.
board got anything? Anybody else on the board? Anybody out there? Go ahead, Ron.
Hi, Rosemary Downey. I just wanted to let you know that I contacted Hotwire, and the installation process was 2 to 2.5 hours. So if the snowbirds go home and they have somebody sitting there, that's 2.5 hours. They will not do it unless Chris has already told us.
Somebody's there.
Somebody has to be there. But I'm a snowbird. I will be down the end of December. If I call them 2 weeks before, they will come in 2 or 3 days afterwards and install it. So I think if the snowbirds don't want to imposition anybody for 2.5 hours, when nothing else is on in the apartment.
We were told 3.
You were
So, 2.5, you got 2.5, you knocked it down so.
So I just wanted to pass that on to
Okay.
everyone.
Did everybody hear her?
Figured that.
Kath?
I have a question about the ponds, okay? I know you're going to be starting on 25, is it?
25's first.
Okay. Are you going to do the bulkhead all the way around all the 3 ponds that are coming up?
Yep.
No.
No.
Why not?
Pond 1?
Why?
Pond 1 we're not.
No. Pond 1 is only
Pond
getting
one.
the building
Just the building side, yeah.
of the pond.
Oh, I'm disappointed to hear that because I have to say 4 and 5 and 8 look wonderful with the bulkhead all the way around. I'm not sure I'm going to like it halfway.
Okay, so the majority of people disagree with you because it's
Really?
on the golf course. That is totally on the golf course. So what they're doing is just around the curve and around the building side where the pond is getting bigger and bigger towards the buildings, that's going to be all bulkheaded. And it's going to slowly, gradually come down like this, but they want to keep the golf course side more golf course. So it is still playable, the ball can still roll down there, you can hit out of it and keep the look more of the golf course. Same thing with Pond 3. 3 is only going to get, any place where there's bulkhead right now is going to be replaced, and then all the way along the building side only. The rest of the pond is going to be kept golf course. So it's going to have the slope, it's going to have the water up and down and that whole bit. 3
That's
is
the big
the
one.
big one.
That's the big
Yeah.
one.
How about 25?
25 is totally bulkhead. 2 is totally bulkhead. 1 is only around the building side, and 3 is only around the building side and where there is already bulkhead existing.
When they dredge, they'll level that all out and they'll put they'll have plants in there and stuff that will be on the side that's not bulkheaded. Plants or grass or whatever they're gonna do. It'll look nice, I think, I'm pretty sure.
Natural, that's what I couldn't
Natural.
think of.
Anybody else? Back over there, Vern.
Hi, Barry Moriarty in 36. When is Comcast going to shut down for the summer here? Do we have a date?
June 2nd, I believe.
Will Wi-Fi still be available through Xfinity till we cancel? Or-
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, your Wi-Fi is until you actually cancel. So if you have not had your hot wire yet, and you're leaving, keep your internet if you use it for your air conditioner or something like that. But you can of course cancel your, what we pay for, the bulk TV.
Okay.
Anything that you're paying for out of your pocket, you don't want to cancel if you want to keep it for now.
Okay.
Until it's in.
The other question I have for discussion, thinking about, can we allow non-commercial pickup trucks that an owner may have to be able to park up here or over in the yacht club? And maybe we limit it to 6 spots and charge a fee. I'm willing to charge a fee. I have a small pickup truck that I can't bring down right now because I can't keep it on the property. But why can't we allow a limited number of spots, charge a fee? I'll pay a fee for it and generate some revenue.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, in order to do that, okay, here's what you have to do. You have to get a petition by 75 people that want trucks in Monterey. The board will look at it. They'll send it out to every owner in the build, every owner here. And if you get 256 people that agree with you, it'll be changed. Otherwise, that's right in the documents. The documents cannot be changed unless you have 256 owners to vote on it. Well, I don't make the, I didn't write the documents, okay? But that's what the documents say, and I'm just telling you how you would go about doing it. If this person wants to bring trucks in here, you get 75 people that want trucks, vans, whatever you want. It goes to the general public, which is all fairness, it's a democracy. You need 256 votes. That's the way the documents read.
However, wait a second. You cannot limit it to a certain amount of pickup trucks. That's a first come, first served basis. If you're going to amend the docs, it's going to amend the docs to say you can now have a pickup truck. So it wouldn't be that they're going to just say there's 10 trucks that can stay up here, first come, first served, and we're charging you. We're not allowed to do that. When you amend the docs, it has to be open to everyone. So basically what you guys would be approving is that you now approve pickups. So you would have a pickup truck parked in front of your building. I understand that, but you can't do what Bob just said, or what you said, is limit it to 10 and the first come, first serve, and you pay. Because you're amending the docs, it's for everyone or no one, okay? Everybody has to have the same right. So what you would be doing if you got this 75 people to sign this petition, which is the way vehicles over 70 inches or up to 70, because it used to be 68, vehicles that are now 70 inches, SUVs, minivans, we didn't used to allow them. A committee of owners got together, got 256 people to actually sign this waiver, and sent it out to all the unit owners, and it got approved. So the thing that would be, you would not be approving 10 spots, first come, first serve. You would be approving pickups, period.
No, it's in the bylaws, Article 10, I'm going to read it for you, okay? At the time of the purchase, the member was specifically assigned one open parking spot, one, okay? The association shall have the right to assign, control, and unassigned parking, so as long as the association does not interfere with or alter the change the previous made developers' assignments. Parking spaces may be transferred and swapped only among various unit owners, but every apartment must at all times have at least one spot, which belongs to it and is transferable at any time of the sale of the transfer of the apartment, if you sell your property. Maintenance of the parking area is declared to be common expense, and common expense incidents shall be divided among all the unit owners and among the common expenses. Parking spaces are for passenger vehicles only. Dimensions are not to exceed 220 inches, length of 70 inches from the top of the roof to the ground. Vehicles which are strictly prohibited are vehicles exceeding 220 inches or 70 inches from the top of the roof to the ground. Pickup trucks, any vehicle with open bed, trucks, motorhomes, mopeds, motorcycles, all trailers, boats, and autos with portable rooftop carriers. That's in the bylaws. That's Article 10 of the bylaws. It's right in the bylaws. So, I mean, we didn't set the bylaws up. The owners did when they did the property.
And again, you could amend them, but you have to realize that anyone who wanted a pickup truck could then have a pickup.
Yeah. But you have to get 256 owners to approve it. We can't even get that to have them a vote on anything we do.
But I would suggest before you put it out to anybody that I think the board should see what you're sending out, just in case it's misleading. I know you would never do that or anybody, but just to see it's misleading.
You can't do that. He can write anything he wants.
But it can't be, okay.
Hang
that's
on,
fine. We'll
hang
do it.
on.
Okay.
He can write anything he wants, anyone can. Once we get that 75 back, the board then has a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
You can send it to the attorney for
I
the
was just trying
legality.
to-
You can check with every single owner, did they realize what they were signing?
Yeah, I was
But you
just-
can't
okay.
limit him to what he, or anyone, of what they want to send out. It could be a bold-faced lie,
No,
but they,
okay,
you
and I was just
can't
trying
stop
to,
it.
I was just trying to save him some time.
I understand.
And energy to do all that before he did that,
Jerry,
that's why.
like Chris said, Jerry, you have to, it has to be open to everybody. Barry, I'm sorry, Barry.
What happens to,
Wait.
What happens if it's approved and 10, 15 people park at the yacht club, and when we have affairs there?
They wouldn't be parking at the yacht club.
Oh, they could park anywhere?
They could park anywhere. That would be their vehicle now. So your neighbor could have a pickup truck and park it right next to you.
Oh, okay.
Some people have 2 cars here, and they park out front here. Are they charged their parking spot?
No. Nope.
Huh.
Can't do it. We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to charge. Everybody has the same right. The board, back when this place was first built, it was, you see, there's only one spot.
Right.
So more and more people had 2 vehicles. So the board at the time made it a rule that you can have a second vehicle, you have to have permission from the association, and you are limited to parking up here.
Okay.
Okay? That's how you can have a second vehicle. It's the only way.
That's what I just needed to know that.
And that's in the rules and regs, not in the documents.
Correct. We're not allowed to charge, that's the thing. See, because it has to be the same for everyone. So we're not allowed to do that. That would be ideal.
Okay, I must have had a senior moment here a little while ago when we were talking about this irrigation system that we're going to put in. Are we going to put it in soon? Are we going to wait and table it for another year? Or what's going to happen to it?
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda for next week. The board will vote on it. If it's approved, it's going to be done right away.
Very good. Thank you.
Has the rule been changed about the way you park? You pull in or can you back in?
No, the rule has not been changed. You can only pull into a spot. We tagged somebody just the other day.
You see somebody backed in, turn it in. You don't have to leave your name either.
Bob Stover, 40E. I just want to thank Chuck and Diane Parks, the Nine and Dine. The accounting is in. The Veterans Committee received a $1,000 donation from the Nine and Dine. Now, that did include a contribution from Judy Roberts from part of her 50-50 winnings, but but as the chart now shows in the back, we have made our goal, and we'll be moving forward with the monument. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Anybody else with anything? Nothing at all? Let's make a motion to
Not,
adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I second it.